We're just hours away from thousands of students walking out of their classrooms in protest. But why those massive walkouts could be costing some students their prom.
Opening statements today in the Tex MacGyver trial, both sides paint very different pictures of a marriage that ended in murder.
This camera may hold the answers to who is pretending to be a cop and sexually assaulting women. The exclusive video first on the late feed.
So of course, I worry, is he alive? It's a hard thing for a mom to think about.
And the search is on for an avid outdoorsman last seen hiking in the Kennesaw Mountains. But first, the story that will be affecting thousands of students tomorrow, the national school walkouts and all the fallout from them. This scene by Parkland students protesting in Florida is expected to be replicated by thousands of local students all across the districts in our area. But for some, it could lead to suspensions and even the loss of prom. Ryan, just how big do we expect this protest to be, and what are the districts, which districts could face real trouble here, the kids?
Yeah, so these protests are going to be all over the place, Vinny. This is the official map from the Women's March, which is organizing most of them. You see the state of Georgia here. I'm going to zoom in. You see all of those dots are different protests that are planned, and those are just the ones that they know about. Now, we contacted all of the school districts in the area to find out what their plan is. I want you to pay attention to these four: Bartow, Cobb, Fayette, and Gwinnett counties. They all four told us that they will be treating any student that walks out during a protest will be considered an unexcused absence if they walk out. So what's the worst that could happen? Well, one parent at a Cobb County school told me their kids have been told if they walk out, they will get a suspension from class. If they get a suspension, Vinny, that means they don't get to go to the prom this weekend. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So what should kids do if they don't want to get in trouble but still want their voices heard?
Yeah, well, you know, that's a tough choice. So I actually asked a student organizer at one of the biggest protests in the area. She gave me her thoughts. Here it is.
I still encourage you to walk out. You will have the majority on your side, even if your own administration is not.
What do you think of these school districts that they're essentially going to punish the kids?
Is terrifying. I think it's not the correct answer to this issue. There's never been one key issue like this one that has had the entire student body anxious and worried and wanting and demanding change. This seems to be a universal concern.
Now, several schools are doing alternative demonstrations. For instance, I know of a high school in Cobb County where they're going to do a balloon release before school, which means students won't have to be getting in trouble. But Vinny, we are going to be paying attention to these four school districts and how those students there will be impacted.
All right. Thanks so much, Ryan. Later, we're getting real with some local students about tomorrow's walkouts. I sat down with Brooke from Creekview High School, Royce from Atlanta's Padilla School, and Smira from Milton High School to talk about safety, taking a stand, where things go from here. And I really think you should listen to what they have to say because it may just surprise some of the adults watching tonight. And that's coming up in about 10 minutes. Investigators in Cobb County are sparing no resources in their search for a missing hiker. 11 Alive's Faith Abube spoke with David Blake's family in Kennesaw Mountain Park, where the 25-year-old was last seen.
The biggest clue in this search for David Blake was uncovered right here in this overflow parking lot. His blue Nissan Sentra left here with the keys inside the cup holder.
And I was like, that's not right, you know, so I was afraid that something had happened to him.
For the last 5 days, Neil Blake and her family have been walking these woods, trying to find clues that might lead to her son. But so far, nothing.
I don't know anything else to do.
The 25-year-old has had no activity on his cell phone or bank account since last Thursday. No one even knows what he was last wearing.
It's tough because you love him and, you know, he's out there somewhere. And
I worry, is he alive? It's a hard thing for a mom to think about.
Neil last saw her son Wednesday when they went out. 2 days later, Blake's boss called and told her he hadn't been at work.
At that time, we went ahead and started our investigation with him as a missing person.
Since then, Cobb County police say they've searched for him by air, on land, and even brought out K-9 officers.
Some of the challenges include the fact that Kennesaw Mountain battlefield is so large. It is an expansive area that is very difficult to search for one person.
Blake is no stranger to these trails, but his family can't help but worry.
It's like this is a nightmare and it's going to go away. I just can't wait to get my arms around David and tell him how much I love him in person.
Blake's mom thinks that he possibly got hurt or sick on the trail and couldn't make it out. Meanwhile, police say they'll continue searching for him until they bring him home.
I'm Ron Jones with some of our other big stories in tonight's Speed Feed, beginning with an apology from an Atlanta United player for his on-field celebration. Check this out. Tito Villalba scored United's third goal. Then in celebration, he fired a pretend machine gun into the crowd. He says he was just mimicking one of his favorite players in Argentina, apologizing that he will not do it again.
Yeah, I understand. I don't understand politics in my country, let alone in the U.S. But that's not how I intended it to be, and if I offended anyone, I'm sorry.
Yeah, a lot of people sounding off out there. Lots of United fans not happy with our story at all. Jay called it BuzzFeed clickbait. Zach says there's a reason it's not allowed in any other leagues. Why should it be any different for the MLS? More shakeups at the White House right now. After 14 months, Rex Tillerson is out as Secretary of State. President Donald Trump has nominated CIA Director Mike Pompeo to take his place. Also gone, the president's personal aide, John McEntee. He's got a new job with the Trump's re-election campaign, despite the fact that he's under investigation by the Secret Service for financial crimes. Austin police offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to an arrest in a string of deadly package explosions. That's on top of $15,000 offered by the Texas governor's office to catch the bomber who's already allegedly killed 2 people and seriously injured a third. Florida prosecutors say they will seek the death penalty against the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting suspect. 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz is accused of killing 17 people on Valentine's Day when he opened fire inside that school. He's scheduled for arraignment tomorrow on a 34-count indictment.
You can get this case dismissed. And if you do, there's a large bonus in it for you. And I won't mind if you share it with the DA.
What a day inside the courtroom. Prosecutors alleging Tex MacGyver tried to buy off the DA. Meanwhile, MacGyver, the prominent attorney is accused of murdering his wife, broke down in some tears during opening statements. MacGyver shot and killed his wife inside their SUV. He says it was an accident. The prosecution says it's murder. Earlier tonight, my legal dream team, defense attorneys Lauren Zimmerman and Daryl Cohen, took a closer look at what happened in court today.
There's really one thing that you need to know about Tex MacGyver and Diane MacGyver to know that he did not intentionally shoot his wife, and that is that he loved her.
Did he love her more than he loved money?
He loved her. She was dead. The remains are done. They're cremated. It's over.
Of course he loved her more than the money.
On Diane's death, he went from negative $5,000 to over $1.1 million cash instantly. And he was the executor and one of the beneficiaries of Diane's $7 million estate.
Was Tex MacGyver better off financially with Diane alive or with Diane dead?
Alive, 100%.
Better off financially after she died, but pre-legal expenses.
It was aimed right at her back.
He's fallen asleep. When they get back to my part, the gun just discharges and goes off.
Will the gun experts make or break this case?
It's much more helpful that it was on the side. It goes more to Tex's narrative.
I think it's going to be a wash.
And she's driving as fast as she could. And she says the defendant tells her, slow down.
Is there any way the defense can explain that?
No cop stop, no accident, absolutely.
I don't know how fast she was driving. Was she going 100 and he said slow down to 70? I think it's strange.
Tex MacGyver was crying in court today.
He needs vulnerability and likability, and if the jury likes him and believes him, he is going to be acquitted.
You can get this case dismissed. And if you do, there's a large bonus in it for you. And I won't mind if you share it with the DA.
Is that proof of murder?
It's proof of someone who's 74, 75, scared to death, he's drowning, he's reaching at anything.
That's just how he's gotten things done in his life, and that's how he thinks this would get done.
Who had a better day today, prosecution or defense?
The defense had a better day because the defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Defense, because if the prosecution's opening witnesses are any indication of what the case is, they don't have one.
You can watch the MacGyver murder trial streaming live from the courtroom each day on our 11 Live Facebook page. That's also where you can join me and my legal dream team each night at 7:30 for analysis and answers to your questions, and that's all live.
Oh gosh, this is the worst nightmare ever.
A young man goes on a hike and disappears. Now his family is desperate for answers.
Another freeze warning in effect again tonight. Cold air is in place in our area, but pretty soon we'll be saying goodbye to the cold air and hello to the warm. I'll have an update on the timeline.
Hey guys, from This Is Us, Chris Sullivan is here tonight. Plus, we have Ricky Gervais, music from Amy Shark. It's a great show. Do not change the channel.